It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. He just sits there and looks pretty.
This is the O-Line Committee.
Dude, this is going to be a spicy one here. We got to get Jeremiah centered here.
Stop it.
You never know what order.
Stop.
This is a rare late night recording of the O-Line Committee here.
These are my favorite, by the way. I love the late nights.
O-Line after dark. O-Line after dark.
The whole day is just building up for this, and I'm like sitting around all day frantically freaking out about nothing.
Got to put in my PDs, little performance enhancers.
Oh, is it that? Did your alarm go off?
Oh, there it is. The dip.
There it is.
This is good. You guys taught the audience about the bad habit of dipping last week, and now you're
Speaking of which, when did Copenhagen today probably come out with the new can with the big ram on it, huh? The battle ram, baby. Fucking get it. I love it. I was hyped today. I saw that.
Boy,
Shout out to Cheyenne up at SA. My favorite.
This is gonna get this.
We're gonna get
this
canceled.
is gonna get off the rails quickly.
Fucking night, boys. I'm just letting you know. Kids are in bed. I'm done with hockey. I am so ready.
Are you okay, Jay?
Are you okay, buddy? You choking over there?
I'm getting
Both
set.
teeth come out.
I'm getting the little upper decker pillow, just putting right where it needs to be.
You're a mess. Okay, let's just say it. You're a mess.
Clean it up.
Not as big as mess as our buddies up north, but I'm just gonna.
Hey, I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna defend my dog.
Listen, we'll get there.
Okay,
we'll get
go
there.
ahead. Go ahead.
No,
I know
we're gonna-
someone's taking a shot at him today.
We're going to get there pretty much immediately after we tell our audience, hey, thank you for getting us to 11,000 YouTube subscribers. Appreciate you. We weren't sure if 5 people were going to subscribe when we launched this back in May. 11,000 of you have either accidentally clicked subscribe or have just fallen in love with the offensive line lifestyle.
Or just came here to yell at us. Or just came here to
the nonsense. Yeah.
Or you just came here to yell at us about the Bears. I mean, it's one of the two.
Well,
It's one of the two.
Shout out to the D2 quarterback from like before whatever that just came out and barrel rolled the fucking Raiders. And now everyone's like, oh, maybe they were right. Maybe they were. I don't know.
Dude, he slung it around, man. He slung it around. So
you got nothing to lose.
Subscribe and like and thank you. Let's just start in here. Who's the mic? It's where we identify the biggest things on our mind in the football world. I had to stop this brawl before we turned the microphones
Who's
on.
going
You guys
first?
almost
You want
did
me to
this
go
off.
first? You want me to go
No.
first?
Let's let Boone. Let's let Boone go first. We'll
Okay.
let Boone start the show today.
All right, listen. I was between 3 things this week. They're my mic. Number one, I got to give him a shout out. Bill Belichick, 300th win. Could have been the mic. That's a big deal. Like in the NFL, 300 wins.
You're almost the mic. 300 wins and then being the mic on the O-Line Committee podcast. Two big accomplishments.
You're the Sam in this equation, okay? You're strong side, okay? You're good. I'm going weak side. I'm going Vikings because you finally showed up. Where the hell has that been all fucking year? Don't even start with me. We're going to talk about it later. My mic this week wears 95 for Cleveland. And for some God reason, nobody knew how to block him for the entire game. I mean, not even the field goal unit knew what to do. Blocked a field goal, 9 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Should I continue? At what point does the O-line coach go, hey, dumbasses, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm just – guys winning games like that. I love it. I love it when guys show up like that. You're all over the field. When you can throw some special teams into it, it really makes me go, you know what, you're trying. Because Jay, you and I both know how that field goal block unit is like, hey, don't hit me, I won't hit you. You got it, buddy. When you jump over somebody, oh, you are trying too hard, and I appreciate it.
I mean, that dude was built in a test tube.
It's
like
ridiculous.
he was created like the old the Powerpuff Girls was like little spice, little nice, everything nice. Like God was up there like giant muscles, can jump really high, freakishly long arms, really fast. Like he created him to just rush the
little bit of charm.
little
quarterbacks.
Kill everyone. Like that dude is an
Good for
absolute freakazoid. He's just a complete freakazoid.
Okay, is he a dumb question? He's not ever on the kick blocking unit. They just put him in for a play, right?
Did you just say the what blocking unit?
The field goal blocking.
Time
The
out.
field goal blocking.
There you go. There you
The
go.
kick
The
block.
kick block unit.
Well, do you
Kick
call
block
it a
unit.
PAT blocking unit too?
Field
Or
goal
is it
block.
It's all
block.
field goal block.
PAT
Yes.
block, field goal block.
The kick
Come
block.
on out.
The kick
Come on
block.
out. The kick block.
He could block a kickoff. I guarantee it. Look at that
Dude.
guy.
Oh man.
But like everyone kept, I loved all the idiots too that were like, "That's illegal. It's illegal." Right? All the Colts
That's
fans.
incredible. That's
he
what
can't
that
do
is.
that. But here's the thing. All that guard or that tackle had to do is just reach their arm up. If they just reach their arm up and touch him, it's a 15-yard penalty leveraging. Like you just can't touch anyone. But if you leap over the top and then land all 275 pounds of you and then immediately jump directly back up in the air and block the kick, I mean, that's one of these like purest forms of athleticism I've seen all year.
I mean, dude, they used to do it when guys would run and jump. And that's how they had to get it done. And this, so you would eventually see it coming. When you can just from a flat-footed stance jump over somebody and then jump again, like Jay said, that's incredible. You are a freak athlete, and I applaud you for that, dude. Good.
That game almost hit 80 total points, too, didn't it? You know, Cleveland, best defense in the NFL.
39-38. Good for you.
Colts with a backup quarterback. Cleveland with a backup quarterback.
Gardner Minshew slinging that thing out there, doing his thing.
Minshew mania.
Oh my God!
All right, Myles Garrett, you are the mic. We're going to Jay next year because I know where this is going to.
Oh, let's do it. This week's mic is the one and only cheaters known as the Michigan Wolverines, led by Alex Boone's fearless leader Jim Harbaugh, for stealing signals illegally. And you can sit here and defend him all you want. This is going to come out. They hired a man who was in the Marines, who in his LinkedIn profile was like, I am very good at finding strategic ways to steal things and give them to the strategic advantage. You then send him to every single away game to scout, not Michigan, the other team. He buys tickets on the 45-yard line facing the team he is scouting and films them the entire game and then comes back and says, here you go, Jim. And there's a stat. I'm going to find the stat for you. My brother sent me this today.
Wait, I feel like this guy's like, he's like a former Navy SEAL.
He was a former Marine. Ready?
Former Marine. Maybe practice being more discreet, I guess.
Jim Harbaugh went 2-4 in 2020, right? Capping a 47-22 run over 6 years. Since then, reported Michigan allegations began in 2021. Michigan has gone 33-3 in conference record, improving to 34-16. So therefore, since he's been alleged of cheating, they've started winning more. Just saying. I knew they're all cheaters.
Gophers got screwed a couple weeks ago
Death
in that
penalty.
52-3 game.
Death penalty for the Michigan Wolverines.
Here's what I'm going to say.
What?
Okay? In Jim's defense, because I'm not defending Michigan.
We're all going to judge your integrity here, by the way.
Everybody's doing it. He's just the dumbass that got caught. That's all I'm going to say. Like, literally, in the room of everybody doing it, everyone's looking at Jim like, dude, seriously, you're so fucking stupid. Like, that's about all I can say about that.
But why are they hiring random dudes off, like, LinkedIn?
To be fair, though,
they're on, like, Craigslist, typing in.
Listen, this is one of these games where you could be like, hey, it's power, and we could be in the perfect defense, and power could still roll for a tud. It's a violent physical game. So even if you do know what's going on, you still have to execute it flawlessly. And in a football game, it has to be flawless. And Jay, you know what I say? I know. I'm not defending him. I'm not certainly not defending Michigan.
But it sounds like you're kind of defending.
But to the other side of it, if you know the signal for like fake power pop pass, or you know the signal where they're going to run like scissors, you can check to the perfect defense. And you can be like, yeah, that guy might be able to run, but if you bracket the right guy, it's going to make that quarterback hold. Like there's so
no
many
way to get out of this, dude.
There's so many strategic advantages to it, and they are in trouble. Like the paper trail is out.
That came out though. Did you see it?
The video, yes. There's the video of the guy. Have you seen it, Boone?
Yes. Ohio State checks to a play, and the whole sideline like waiting, and then they're like, "Oh, go this." Like they're all like literally the minute that CJ Stroud turns, you see the whole defensive side like looking, and as soon as they see it, they're like. Dude,
I love it. The crime here is be more discreet. Like
that's exactly what I'm saying. You don't have to be these. What is that movie I'm thinking of? Animal House style guys that are just on the sideline, like Jim Belushi over there. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Dean comes down.
They're screwed. They're the mic. Michigan's going to get in trouble.
Man. So what happens to Harbaugh? Is he coaching next year?
I think this sets him up to go to the league. I really do. I think this is one of those things where he's like, I'm going to exit.
The Raiders.
Peace. I'm out of here.
Wasn't he flirting with that Raiders job at one point, like 2 years?
Well, he was almost the Vikings head coach.
I know. Well,
I mean, he almost was in purple.
Problem is, here's my question: do you think that something like this would be held against him at the next level? Like, hey, dude,
yes,
you're a known cheater,
dude. This is worse than Spygate. Like, this is way worse than Belichick's Spygate. And here's the thing, and here's the shitty thing about it: the kids are going to be the one that get punished.
Oh, for sure,
right? The kids that are on that team, because like they'll probably, I don't think they'll give them the death penalty like they did SMU, but I can see them being like, all right, postseason ban. Right, no bowl game, no college football playoff, no Big Ten championship.
Might as well be
like,
a death sentence.
Like at that point, you're not punishing the coaches or punishing the people. Like, I would be really hard pressed to believe that the players understand that this is actually going on. Like, the players have no idea. They just think their coaches are geniuses, right? It's like, God, they get us in the right protection and they get us in the right coverage every time. They're just so good. Like, they don't have any idea that they have freaking.
We're special here at Michigan. We are special.
They've got spies on the other side like this, just exactly eyeballing them down. Like, they have no idea. They're going to be the ones that get screwed for it, which will be the really unfortunate.
To your point, like, so they went 2-4 during the pandemic year in 2020.
Yeah.
Is this Jim Harbaugh's ego a little bit? This is him getting clowned a little bit, right? They were going to try. Weren't they like cutting his salary in 2020? And
they almost fired him.
F this. Never will I be laughed at again. Never will I be 2-4. You know.
Listen, go. There's a lot of threads. There's a lot of threads. There's a lot of evidence out there, and there seems to be more and more coming out. And the Michigan deniers and the Michigan people that are trying to be like, oh, watch all those tickets he bought. Those are for war heroes. It's like, okay, hold on. Like, there's so many spirals.
That's actually genius right there. That's a genius.
If there's
PR
things that come out, we'll see. But I don't think there's any way they wiggle out of this without some type of
PR counterattack.
Major fine.
How dare you clown us for buying tickets for former Marines?
And that would shut
and then giving them
down.
phones to watch to record the game for their families.
Save memory. Who cares? We buy it back from them.
It's Boone's guy. All right. Who's my mic?
Who you got,
who's my mic? Okay, we're going organizationally here. My mic is the Green Bay Packers, and specifically any Green Bay Packers fan under the age of 40. All of you are my mics this week, because any Green Bay Packers fan under the age of 40 is mentally short-circuiting. They are going blue screen of death, wondering what is happening right now. This is crazy. I have had a Hall of Fame quarterback to watch every single Sunday since 1991. What is this? Why can't we score points against the Raiders? Why can't we beat the Denver Broncos, who traded all their good defensive players? Why can't we score points anymore? If you're a 40-year-old Packer fan or younger, this is very mentally trippy for you, and I think we should discuss it through. We can be your therapist here on the O-line committee. I feel sort of bad for you, but also welcome to like the rest of your division for the last 30 years. Yeah. Okay.
Welcome. I mean, if you need help, call a Patriots fan. They're a few years ahead of you. They're a few years ahead of you now. They can walk you through the 12 steps of, like, right now you're in denial. Like, right now you're all in denial. Like, it's not that bad. It'll be okay. Jordan Love will turn this thing around. And you're staring the Patriots 2 years in a row of a 1-5 start, firing everyone and starting over. It's okay. It happens. Welcome to fandom. Like, welcome to the real world, Packers
it's amazing.
Fans.
It's always weird when we have a paradigm shift too in the NFL. Like, when I was a kid, the Bengals were garbage for like 10 years. They whiffed on high draft picks, and then they got kind of good for another 8 years with Marvin Lewis. Mm-hmm. But then they were like 0-8 in the playoffs, so they kind of graduated. And then they get Joe Burrow, and it's weird. It's like, well, the Bengals are in Super Bowls. The Bengals are in. So the paradigm shift here is the Packers. And again, I was born in 1985. You guys are a little younger. None of us remember the Packers not being good and not having a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Oh.
They've only missed the playoffs like 6 or 7 times since the early 1990s. Before that, between Hall of Fame quarterbacks, between Bart Starr and Brett Favre, I believe it was 3 playoff appearances from the late 60s until 1993. Welcome back to NFL Purgatory.
Welcome back,
Green Bay Packers.
I mean, it's like the Lions being good. I don't really ever remember the Lions being like. I remember them being okay when they had Calvin Johnson and Stafford like first got there, but like I don't ever remember having national buzz about the Lions being good, like ever in my entire life. I just don't remember it.
I vaguely remember like the Barry Sanders, Wayne Fonts sort of mid 1990s, but yeah, that's about it. But then Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson were so burnt out on playing for the Lions, they just stopped playing when they were 29 years old. They're like, I can't do this anymore.
How about Calvin airing that dirty laundry? Like, listen, I'm pissed about, what was it? They owed him money. And he was like, listen, or they took back a bunch of his money. And then he was like, this is nonsense. And I agree with him. Like, dude, at some point, Calvin Johnson was your entire team. The entire team was built around one guy. And to burn that bridge just shows you what kind of an organization that is. Not even kidding you. Like, when the greatest walks in, I would have been like, whatever you want, dude. Whatever makes you fucking happy. Makes us happy. Makes everybody here happy. Let's just be happy, right?
Yeah.
Terrible. God damn.
So, sorry, guys. We're here again. If you need some references as to how to cope and deal when you don't have Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, just let us know. Plenty, by the way, as a Vikings guy myself, plenty of experience with the Tavares Jacksons, the Christian Ponders. There's also like the patchwork option. That's great. The Randall Cunninghams. Matt Castle for a few minutes.
Josh Freeman for a day.
Josh Freeman. Dude, last week was the 10-year anniversary of the Monday Night Football game. Josh Freeman.
Signed on like a Wednesday, started on a Monday. Fantastic.
No big deal.
Amazing. So, all right. Wow. A lot of hot mics there.
Dude.
This episode here.
Starting off hot.
Sure is. I love it.
All right, before we get to dumb football questions, I think we should dive into the picks here, and more importantly, the results from last week. You want to talk about Packer fans getting humbled?
It's a good thing we aren't sports bettors, friends.
A lot of games not going our ways, boys. A lot of games.
Ball just didn't bounce our way.
So, we pick 4 highlighted games every week that we expect to be close. So, these games are mostly supposed to be like 2-3 point games. We pick straight up because spreads are for losers. And last week, between the 3 of us, we picked 12 games. Only one of us picked a straight up winner correctly, and it was Jeremiah with the Philadelphia Eagles winning their game. So, congratulations, Jeremiah.
Bullshit.
I was 0-4. Booney was 0-4. You were 1-3. I'm now 17-11 on the season. Booney is 15-13, and you are back down to 500 at 14-14, but pacing ahead of the field this week. So
hey, it's all right.
Mackey, what's your record?
17-11.
All right.
Are you writing these down?
You're damn right I am.
Okay.
He just has to take his socks
2
off.
games out of first. 2.5 games out of first. I'm good.
Hey, when are we going to bring in the segment that we promised to do on Purple Daily last year, where you bust out your handwritten practice notes from 10 years ago, Booney?
You want me to pull them out?
Do you?
I have.
Too. You have some too?
Of course.
Yeah, I have some right here, sitting right here. Does that make me weird?
Open that thing up.
It's funny.
Random page.
Random
page. What do you got?
I was looking through this the other day, and it was actually my first training camp here in Minnesota. So I have everything written down from the first game on, and it's like Sean Hill's offense and all that fun stuff. Let's see. Let's open up to a random day.
Sean Hill with 3 flak jackets.
I need to find my my one from when I was in Minnesota. I had all the Tonyisms written down.
No, I have day 5 of training camp and everything that he wrote on the board. Block the noise, embrace the challenge. Just play fast and hard. 6 and 7 hole, 4 and 5 hole. You got to see the signs. Let the hands go. Paint and draws in. Elephant and rhinos in. Purple, dead play till code word is used. Day 6, we put in 60-70 G club, G boss. 60-70 G, and then we went on over goal line. 20-30 blast. Versus 5-3, we're going to B to the will linebacker. We're going to man and we're going to mupp it. Versus 6-2, everybody is man, backside guard and center, yellow to the will linebacker.
Do you guys remember when Sperano, I think it was when he was with the Raiders, and they got off to a bad start, and he brought the team together, and they buried a football in a grave?
Yeah.
It's on YouTube somewhere. I should find it.
Tony and I talked about that when he was in San Francisco. Tony and I were in Frisco together before. Dude, I was such a loser that on the backside of all this, I used to drop the blitzes from the opposing team that we were going to see. There was just so much stuff that I would just constantly draw up.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, I'm looking through here. I have one in here that's like, throw your hand, stop being a pussy.
Dude, all these notes just go nowhere. It's crazy.
Oh, if someone opened this, they'd think that I had it makes no sense. It just makes no sense. Like,
Stop
I got the
being a
opener.
pussy.
I got the openers here for the night game. Right, you got the openers.
Is this the 15 scripteds right here?
Yep, night before, right there.
Oh.
Openers.
Key right, baby. I see that. Key right,
Yep,
dude.
key right.
Yeah,
Act 4,
see?
2030 gut slam. All of it. All of it. All of it. All of it.
Plays,
16 of camp right here. Look at all these. Look at all these notes that Tony wanted us to know.
This is like a General Andrew Luck. Day 16 of camp, and we're getting weary on the road. Headed to Jacksonville.
There's a few in there. It's like day I don't even know. It's just like the sun came up, the sun went down, the day.
The
ended,
best is
day
when you
began.
look at the back and you try to figure out like what you were writing to a friend that day. Like, what does this say? What were we talking about? Oh, okay, I got it.
I have a bunch of random doodles everywhere because I used to just like draw. Oh yeah.
Why is there a picture of Garfield on my
Yep.
notebook? Okay, 4 games this week. We got to dig out of our funk here. We're going to start with Bengals at 49ers straight up.
Oh, who's got it?
Booney?
Me? Boone, you want it first?
What's up?
Bengals, Niners.
Bengals at 49ers this week.
All right. Well, let's think logically. Okay. Bengals are coming off a bye week. That's a plus. Niners are what, 0-2 in the last 2 games? Against the Vikings. 6 minutes left. Dude throws 2 picks to win the game. I'm going to say the Bengals are going to win because they're coming off the bye week. OBJ's feeling a lot better. They can slow down this pass rush, get Burrow moving around, get that outside. Dude, what Kirk put up against them? Like 385. Like and let's be honest, this is one of the things that we're talking about that game. Dre Greenlaw was playing his ass off, but he is clearly hurt. Like he was on the ground a lot. Fred Warner, blood all over the glove. Dude was holding his hand half the night. Like these dudes are starting to get banged up, and it's going to be, in my opinion, this is when it starts to become who can execute better, who can play flawless football, who can not turn the ball over, who can get the run game going, who can run the clock down, who can put up points on the board. And honestly, I think that the Bengals coming off a bye week are a scary team, dude. Let's be honest. If you can start getting these receivers hit in stride, maybe even get Joe Mixon going a little bit, I think the Bengals can take this.
I want to take the Bengals here, but I can't bet against 0-2 49ers. I think they'll get themselves back on track. You know, I think the Vikings have a top 5 offensive line right now. You have one of the 2 best tackles in the NFL right now, and they shut down Bosa and they shut down Armstead and those guys. The Bengals have shown that they can score points, but not consistently enough. I think I got to go Niners here.
Yeah. I'm going to use some logic. Boone used logic with his. I'm going to use logic for mine. A Bengal is a ferocious tiger, but a 49er travels with a pickaxe. Okay? So I'm going to go with the man holding a pickaxe to defeat the ferocious tiger here, especially after 2 straight losses.
Yeah,
I think give me the 49ers.
They're at a critical point in their
Short
season
week.
too. They're in a critical point in their season too.
Yeah, you thought,
Where's that
man,
game
coming
at?
off that. It's in San Francisco.
In San Fran.
Yeah. You thought coming off that loss to the Browns with an extra day to prepare too, that I mean, I thought they were going to smoke the Vikings. So the Vikings kind of shocked me.
They shocked everybody, dude. Knock it off. Everyone over here defending them.
But here's the thing. The Vikings play flawless football. Now, they've proven that they can't. Can they do that week in and week out? I do not know. You're drinking a Monster Energy drink at 8:30 at night, you absolute lunatic.
You sad.
I'm
That's
just saying.
to wind down, by the way. That's like his wind down. It's like a warm glass of milk for Booney.
But, you know, the Bengals for me have been an inconsistent team, much like the Vikings. If they can come out and beat the Niners, though, I think we can say, okay, the Bengals will figure something out. They're coming back. But I think the Niners are just going to be too pissed off, too coming in there ready to rock, and just too much for the Bengals right now.
All right, let's go Browns at Seahawks, traveling some time zones out to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, you know, I think this is going to be a really, really good game. The Seahawks are coming in their way a little bit with the running game with Charbonnet and Walker. You know, they still have DK, who's kind of been off to a slow start this year, not what you're used to seeing from him. But the Browns defense is, even though they gave up a bunch of points to Gardner Minshew and them, they find a way. I mean, they find a way. They're so smothering. They're so suffocating. And I really do think the Browns are going to win this game. Now, that's prevalent. It's now, I know it's Tuesday night. A lot of that depends if Deshaun Watson plays or not. I think he should play. I mean, he wasn't diagnosed with a concussion. As
No, they
we
just
were
kind of
told.
left him out.
They just
right?
kind of were like, you sit. But if he plays, I think they win.
Okay, I'll go next. I'll give Booney the last pick here. There's just something about the Seahawks. I don't know. They've been kind of overlooked. They've been sort of nondescript compared to the household names from 5-10 years ago. and they're hard to beat in that stadium. So I know the Browns. And by the way, so for the Browns defense carrying them, but the Browns wound up winning a shootout this last week. So they did prove, I guess, that they can win in some different ways. I'm going to go Seahawks in a close game. Booney, former team for Boone here.
I'm going to go
hometown team.
Listen, I agree, and I'm not sure what they're going to do with Deshaun Watson. I mean, if you were the Browns, what would you do?
Play him.
Okay.
You're paying him too much money to not play
I agree. Absolutely. I'm just saying if something goes wrong, it's definitely going to fall back on you. And last year with Tua, this year is not going to be any better.
He doesn't have a concussion.
I'm just saying, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know, fucking doctor. But I will say this. I love the Seahawks.
But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah.
I did. And I love Pete Carroll. That's my guy. No question. But I think the Brownies pull this one out. Let's go, CLE. Come on now. Sorry, Mackie.
Well, no, I'm happy to be differentiated here.
No, you're not. You don't want to do this.
Okay, I don't know what I'm 0-4 and my head's spinning from last week. Jaguars at Steelers.
Oh,
battle
God,
of
the Steelers.
2 lost teams here.
Tomlin is finding a way to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. He every year. Like, he's such a good coach. He finds ways every year to put that team in a competitive situation, to be a winning football team. The Jaguars have been hot. You know, they have a little bit of time here getting Trevor Lawrence back. He was a little nicked up in that game, but I'm going to take the Steelers here. I know I'm betting against my tattoo.
Can you do that? Can you do that?
Oh, dude, you're turning on
against
your
I had a bet.
No, you just said I'm all in. You just said I'm all in. No one forced you to do anything. No one can force you to do anything. I think the Steelers win this game.
Booney?
Dude, I can't believe this. You know what? I can't. And I can't tell you why I can't pick them, but I can't pick the Jaguars. I'm going Steelers all the way.
Why?
I can't
Hold
tell
on.
you
Why?
why. I
What do you
can't.
mean you can't tell us? Something my 4-year-old does. I did something, but I can't tell you what I did.
I'm going Steelers all the way because I'm with you. I think Mike Tomlin has his team find a way to win.
Do you know something?
Yeah, what's going on here?
No, I don't know anything. I don't know.
This is like insider trading here. You can't.
No,
you
it's
can't
not.
have
I
insider-
swear. I just don't have a good feeling about the Jaguars this week, and I'm all about the Steelers.
He knows something.
I don't.
You're a horrible liar.
I'm walking right into this. I'm picking the Jaguars. And if the Jaguars have like all contracted some sort of weird disease and
somehow Boone
they're
knows
be,
about it,
like, signing practice squad guys,
I don't know.
is Trevor Lawrence okay?
He's fine. I'm sure he's fine.
The doctors say it's only temporary.
This is one of those things where I can't pick the Jaguars right now. I'm sorry.
no.
Okay, let's go to New York here, or technically New Jersey, I think, where the Jets are playing, air quotes, at the Giants.
I was supposed to be at this game. I was supposed to be going to this game. I'm like, I can't anymore. My dad is actually going to be having surgery at the Mayo Clinic next week, so I'm going to be going up there for that. But I want to take the Giants out of loyalty to my guy, John Michael Schmitz. I do. But I think the Jets have found something. And that guy's name is Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall, I mean, you hear it now, Dalvin Cook's back on the trade block because that was kind of a panic sign, in my opinion, where they were like, I don't know if Breece Hall's, and he's starting to emerge of being the guy that we all saw last year before the injury. That defense is still very, very good. Now, I think Wink Martindale's got the Giants defense playing lights out right now, too. But I think I got to roll with the Jets in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Jets, Jets here too, man. There's, you know what it is? It's not even Breece Hall. It's Aaron Rodgers' aura. Just spinning the ball on the sidelines, walking out, no walking boot, no limp, playing catch with his teammates. It's all about manifestation with the Jets right now. He is manifesting these victories, and that's what's going to happen.
Back.
And I think it's a very patchwork offensive line still for the Giants, right? I think last game they had one guy in there that was a starter day one, and he was playing a different position, right? You've now got a dude that was on the Eagles practice squad starting at right tackle for them last week. You have Glowinski in there, Ben Braidson, Josh Pugh straight off the couch, and then I couldn't tell you, gun to my head right now, who started left tackle for them last week. Couldn't tell you right now. Gun to my head, who was it? Pull the trigger. No clue. Yeah. Right? So you talk about that going against...
What a way to
Jeremiah's
go,
dead.
Dude,
dead,
can you imagine
gone,
being in a situation where someone's like, dude, I need you to tell me right now, or you're dead. Like, who the left tackle for the Jets was last week.
Pull the trigger, man.
Like,
no clue.
Take my wallet. No, dude. I need the left tackle.
Done. Pull the trigger. No idea.
You're in a really fucked up situation if that's what you're hearing. Tell me the left tackle for the Giants right now.
It's like Saw 14, you know?
Where are you?
Andrew Thomas,
I'm in a dungeon.
No.
There's a clown.
Zulu, no. Jessup, no. Okay, that's all I got.
That's all I got. All right, listen. I'm going because I love my Jets. I'm all about Aaron Rodgers coming back this year, and I'm all about this dude making it to the Super Bowl. Dude, let's rock on. JETSS. Let's go.
SS.
JETSSS.
You heard me.
Jets.
You heard me.
Jets.
All day, every day, baby. Come on, Aaron. Give it to me. Sorry, J Mike. I love you.
All right, so that's the only game that we're all in lockstep here is the JETS, which means the Giants are winning by 17 points.
I can't believe that Mackey took the Jaguars and you didn't. I'm really kind of judging you.
I know.
Can you text me what's wrong with the Jaguars after the show?
Full retraction.
No, I can't.
You're like their plane crashed yesterday. Actually, you didn't see the news.
I can't tell you why.
So, all right, those are the picks right there, boys. It's time for some dumb football questions here.
My favorite time
on the O-Line Committee podcast, where you guys, the listener and viewer faithful of this podcast, can submit any dumb football question you want. By the way, I've seen this segment lately on the world-renowned New Heights podcast, where they name it something different. Just know that dumb football questions actually started on the O-Line Committee.
Yeah,
just want people to know that.
Stole it from us.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna steal Taylor Swift from them next.
Yeah.
Easy.
Jay might quit actually if that happens.
Yeah. No, done.
Let's start with this question. By the way, hit us up with any dumb football questions in the YouTube comment section. We'll get to as many as we can. We love going through these. So Hickory wants to know, what was the most impressive thing you ever saw a player do in the weight room? And can you name who it was?
Oh, what? Which person? Not named me. I mean, dude, there were so many.
Oh, my self-suck. Ding.
No, I'm saying there were I was not. Like, no.
Who else but me, the Rhino, was the most impressive person in the weight.
Barely, dude. Are you kidding me? I played with Alden Smith. I watched him cover Randy Moss on a go route. Blanketed him. I was like, I don't belong out here. I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I do not belong out here. It was seriously one of the most impressive things I ever saw. But there was, I played with Vernon Golston at Ohio State. And I don't know, Jay, you ever play against him?
I did not.
He was a freak. Like he was, had he had a mean attitude, he would have been without a doubt the meanest, nastiest, best defensive end. Like he was, we came in one day for testing and he was squatting 550 and after 20 they were like, done, just stop. He was like, are you sure? They were like, stop now. And then he went over to the bench and he put 500 pounds on, and after 20 they were like, stop, just stop. I'm not even kidding you. He was 295 pounds, probably 0% body fat, 0.0000, all the way down to 0. He was a freak show, but he just, for whatever reason, could never. Remember they did the Hard Knocks, and the coach was like, I want you to go start a fight. Remember Rex Ryan was like, I want you to go start a fight with Vernon. And it was because he was literally like, I need to see what this dude's about. And they went over and started fighting. Vernon was like, stop, man. Stop. That's like how he was. He was always like, whoa.
Wasn't there a story, by the way, that Rex Ryan was maybe like coming back to coaching or something?
God, I hope not. What was that? Vance Joseph was going to get fired and Rex Ryan.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Stop it. Don't do that to Vance.
Rex Ryan, by the way, he's definitely installed some new choppers. If you've seen him on TV recently, like dude could blind a four-way intersection with his smile right now. But good for him.
You know who else was a low-key super freak? Staley. Did you know that I think he still holds the 4x1 record in the state of Michigan? Because he wasn't a left tackle his whole life. He was a tight end. He was super fast. And that's why they moved him out to left tackle. Eventually they were like, oh, you got great feet. You like to block. Like, get out there. He could run like the wind. I mean, it's just, you ever like get really tired and you see your friend and he's not tired? And you're like, how the fuck is he not tired? And you're just like, I would be sucking gas and he'd be like, come on, guys, let's go. Okay. Like just the worst. Like the dude was just a super freak, but that's like everybody on the team. It's just incredible.
Yeah, there's a couple for me. One was in college, Ndamukong Suh. I can remember watching him hang clean for reps 455. Like for like sets of 4 and 5, like no straps, just gripping and ripping. And I was an 17-year-old freshman, like kind of like Boone, like I can't. I can't. I have to block.
I came into the wrong room. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was looking for the underwater basket weaving class. I think I'm in the wrong place. Right. Like he was a freak show. And then another guy is Wyatt Teller. Now, he was a specimen.
Cleveland
right now,
Guard.
he's from like he played with I played with him in Buffalo when he was a fourth rounder. Now he was a special type of human, and when I mean special, like not a lot going on up here all the time. Love the kid to death, but light wasn't always on all the way up. And I can remember on like a Wednesday morning, we came in and we had our lift and we were getting our squats in. And it was like week 8 or week 9, and like I'm warming up with like 225 on the bar, just trying to get the back loose a little bit. And I look over at him, and he's got the Buffalo bar, which is the bar that bends, like that goes across. And he's got 600 pounds, and he's moving it with ridiculous speed, with no shoes on, like just barefoot,
Grounding.
ripping and ripping it. And he did the same thing. Like he repped it and he kind of racked it. And he's like, "Oh, morning, guys. How's it going?" Like not short of breath, not like, oh, like like not like the life is drained from his body. Like just completely like, oh, they told me to lift that, so like I just lifted it. I'm like, oh, okay, you freak. Like there's some dudes that are just so naturally God-given strong. It is wild.
It's not fair. That's exactly what that is. It's not fair. You know who you said that, and it made me think of Kyle Long used to train with us in the off season, and he was another one. Like he would just show up. We'd all be warmed up. He would just walk in the gym, be like, "Hey, what's up, dudes?" Be like, "Oh, nothing. We're behind the neck pressing 225 today because Chuck's in a crazy mood." He'd be like, "Oh, sounds fucking sweet." Just no bullshit, no warm up. Came right over 225 behind the neck, just straight up, straight down. I was like, "You fucking serious? Who is this guy? Who is this?" Just unbelievable. And then the last one was James Harrison. James Harrison we used to train in his gym, and one day he came in and he was kind of making fun of us because we were floor pressing like 405, and he was like, "You guys are pussies." And so my mentor Chuck was like, "Oh yeah, if you're so fucking tough, why don't you get down there and do it?" So this dude, straight cold, gets on the ground 405, set of 10. So Chuck, not to be outdone, is like, "All right, cool." So now he gets on the ground completely cold, like, "All right, I'm going to do it too." And we're like, I didn't know this became a war all of a sudden. Next thing I know, there's like 455 pounds on the bar. And I'm like, wait a minute. When did this become a you guys show? And we're out of it. And it was just back and forth, completely cold. I was like, there's no. And then I ended up having to play him that year. And I was like, dude, this is not even fair anymore. This dude didn't even warm up. And he's like, his arms are this long. And he's just stroking the shit out of 450 floor press like it's nothing. Where do you find these people?
Dude, I can appreciate. As a guy who broke the Hanover Elementary School record for sit-ups in a minute for a 6th grader here.
Get it?
We're all speaking the same language. Frankie S. chimes in, says, "I had to wear a cup from Pee Wee football all the way through high school. I heard that NFL players don't wear a cup. Is that true?"
I haven't worn a cup since Nam. I can't remember. I think I wore one in like Pee Wee for a little bit, and then everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, don't you have to wear a cup? I'm like, no. Yeah, no one wears a cup. You can't run with those things on. You can't no one wears a cup.
We didn't even wear leg pads for the longest time until like the year before we got out, we retired. They were like, all right, now they're mandatory that they have to be in your pants at all times.
Well, I remember guys used to cut out the leg pads, the old school leg pads, super bulky. Like guys would rip the padding. This was you. I think you used to do this. They'd rip the padding off of the leg pads and just have like the little plastic shell that was
because they had
like,
to see the 3 lines.
Yeah. And Boone would just like put that in his pants. Like it was worthless. It did nothing. It did nothing. And like that, guys, yeah, everyone tries to wear as little as possible on their lower body so that you can move fast. And
not only that, but
a cup is not. You can't move with a cup on.
The chances of you getting hit in the legs like that, like in the, it's so.
I mean,
very rare.
George Kittle found out.
Yeah,
the hard way.
We're not
Monday
catching
Night
balls.
Football
No one's
week.
tackling us. Like no one's going to hit you in the balls.
But you never catch like a stray knee from a defensive tackle.
I don't think I ever got hit in the balls one time playing football.
I will say this: I did punch a guy that jumped one time, and he did kick me in the balls. But that was like more of a reaction from him. I should have been more expecting it, and I was like, "Oh, that hurt." But then, I mean, it wasn't like I got to wear my cup. Terrible.
Just,
Could you imagine?
yeah,
that?
you knew that was coming back at you too, right?
Dude,
Like,
I remember though. Do you remember in like Pop Warner when the coaches would be like, "Cup check time"? You'd be like, "What?"
Oh,
and then we'd have to knock. You'd all knock on it.
Yeah, the coach would walk around with a bat swinging. Who's up? Like, oh no, I forgot to wear
the cup check, just wham.
Yep, I do remember that.
You were so stupid back then.
Stuart Gonzalez Blank says, "Can you guys talk about the center position and the difficulty and unique challenges of playing center? How do you snap the ball?" And like, I'll pick this up and go from here for this. It does seem unfair that like the other 4 offensive linemen just get to like be on the ready, but then one guy has to deliver the football through his legs. Why, I guess you could do it a different way, right? But that's probably the most efficient way to do it. That's why we've done it that way for 75 years. And then like block a 320-pound monster in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, I played center my last 3 years in the NFL as the backup. And when I first got thrown into that role, it's a panic initially because you realize like if you screw the snap up, everything else is dead. Right? Like everything else that everyone else is doing is meaningless if you mess that snap up. So priority number 1 when you're a center is like you have to learn that snapping is as easy as walking for you. You can't even think about it, right? It's like blinking. You don't even realize you're doing it. And because as soon as you start thinking about the snap, you're going to get beat physically, right? As soon as you're starting thinking like, okay, where's my hand? Okay, finish backing through. Don't let my wrist like cross here. Okay, I'm stepping here so I can't bring my hand with me as I'm snapping or I'm going to pull it this way. You're toast. You're done, right? So you just have to do reps on reps on reps. But it's another thing too to practice center. And then when you get out there in the game for the first time, I'll never forget my first preseason game when they're like, all right, you're in at center. And this was like my first live reps at it, not in a practice, not in a controlled environment. Like, and you walk out there and you're looking at the defense and they're all looking at you because you're like initially, everyone on the defense initially looks at the center. That's like the first thing. So you're like kind of looking around and you just feel 11 sets of eyeballs right on you. You're like, oh, this is real. Like, this is real and terrifying. And you just get down there and you're trying to make the calls and everyone's yelling at you trying to make a call. And you're just like, ah. And then the quarterback's like, come on, hot. And you're just freaking out. Like, it is a true panic moment your first few times at center. I loved it after I got used to it because I loved being in control and being able to control everything. But it is an extremely hard mental position to play. Probably, honestly, though, Boone, you might back me up. I think it's one of the easier physical positions to play on the offensive line rather than some of the other ones.
I was just going to say that. So while Jay makes a great point, you have to be mentally at the highest point of your game because not only are you snapping the ball, but you can't ever forget the snap count. And you have to set everybody in motion at all times. Like without the point, we don't know where we're going because we could be going there. We could be going here. We could be going back here. There's a lot of places. So I think that when you say, hey, listen, the center position, yes, while it's a tough position and it's mentally challenging, we know that at the same time. Like it's funny you said he has to snap the ball and we don't. We know he does. So a lot of times we'll always cover for the center. Like if he's got a nose and I don't have anybody in my gap, I know he has to snap the ball. I'm not going to completely void the center. I'm going to sit there and hold. And my tackle actually knows, hey, I don't have help right away because he's helping the center. And then he's going to come out to me. Like it's always work your way in to out. And so you always want to make sure the center's on point. But two, and I'm not saying this is really like crazy, but if you fuck your center, he's going to come back and get you later. Like I'm not kidding you. What? They are very vengeful. Like they'll be like, hey, where'd you go on that Ricky? Like, oh dude, we had that blitzer. I had to get out there. Yeah, he came from depth. You don't throw a hand anymore? Oh, no. My bad. I'll get you. Yeah. So now what he'll do, the next time he's sliding left, guess who's going to boogie woogie his ass out of there without throwing a hand for you? Like, he's like, how'd you like it? Did you like it? No, I didn't. I totally did not like that. Yeah. Throw me a hand next time. Got it. And
self-sabotage.
We love them though. The centers are the guys. Like they are technically like the alpha. No matter what they are off the field, on the field, they are alphas. Like they are like, I said 4 call, and you're like, got it. All right, hey, he forwarded it. Hey, bring it back. Like, you sure? I said 4. Got it. Unless you're, let's see if he knows this person. Unless you're in Jacksonville and you mic the corner.
Nick Easton from Harvard.
And then all of a sudden, everyone, literally, you see 4 sets of helmets turn in. Like, did you just mic the corner?
Oh, my God. And I'll tell you this, the best centers, and we've been in the rooms with these guys, they will fall on the sword for the other 4 offensive linemen.
Always.
Right? Like the best part is they're so pissed while they're doing it, but they refuse to throw anyone else under the bus. The good ones, right? The Hall of Famers, the guys that have been in the league for a long time. Like, I can remember we're sitting there and as a guard or a tackle, you're like, I know I screwed this play up. Like, ID wise, I know I went to the wrong guy. And so you'll be sitting there and, Sirles, what happened here? Why'd you go to this guy? And you're sitting there like, coach in the center will chime, like, I mic'd the wrong person. And you kind of look over at them and they just kind of glare at you like, hey, idiot, do it again and I'll kill you. And you're like, got it. Right. And then the coach looks like, really? And he's like, yeah. And then like, it's very clearly on film that he mic'd the right person. He's like, but on film, you're pointing right here. And he's like, nope, mic'd the wrong guy. That's on
leadership.
me.
That's leadership.
I'll take that. Right. Yeah, exactly. Versus
great
other centers, Nick Easton will remain nameless. We're the fastest bus throwers of all time.
Or listen, when that question is asked and we all start to lean forward, like, yeah, what did you say?
Yeah, that's
you remember that? And there was no answer, and we were all like, see, you're not a center. You're just not the guy. Because Jay's right. I played with Goody, and he was phenomenal, and he was one of those guys that was like, listen, I'll get you in the right spot, but if anybody hits me late, I need you to get him back for me. We were like, you got it, buddy. Like, and the minute you would mess up, he'd be like, just like Jay said in the room, hey, I did that wrong. Like, you played 15 years in this league. You don't know 4-3 defense? Yeah, just seemed to happen, didn't it? Boom. Yeah, it did. Won't happen again. Ever again. Like they're just because they know I'm the guy. It lives and dies with me, but you better have my back always. Like, he'll have our back. We better always protect him when it comes to those noses that are jumping him, the twisters, all those things. Like, we're always there to protect them.
And I'll end with this. The cardinal rule, if you're the center, do not lie to the coach about the other, like, what happened actually out there, right? Like, during the game. Like, there was many a times we played with centers that will remain nameless, Nick Easton, who we would come off on the side, and he would say on the field he would have mic'd someone, and we'd come off on the side. We'd all be sitting there looking at the tape and looking at Toby like, what happened here? Why didn't we go to this guy? He's like, oh, I mic'd that guy, and we'd all be like, the hell you did. Right, like, but no one wants to say anything pregame because, like, and we're like,
you're in a game.
Like, he'll fix it in the meeting room, right? Well, it's tempers are high, blood's boiling, it's fine. And we get in the meeting room, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I definitely called the mic over there. They must not have heard it." We're like,
8 eyeballs just shifting.
Okay,
over.
and so then you're
like
getting cussed
20.
out, and you're sitting there going, "Yep, okay, sure thing, bud." And then you get in the locker room, he's like, I thought I mic'd that guy. I swear I did. We're like, you didn't do it. And he's like, sorry guys. And after you just got dog cussed in the meeting, you're like, or you don't snap it on the right time.
I will say this. Tony always knew. Tony and I talked a lot. And so he would, after those meetings, I always got pulled upstairs, and it was what was really said. And we'd pull all those plays back up. He'd be like, who do you mic? I'd be like, can you believe you fucking mic'd that guy? He'd be like, why didn't you fix it? He's the center, not me, Tony. Fucking guy. Yeah. he was just, Nick used to drive him nuts.
So if there's like 60 offensive plays or whatever in a game,
yeah,
and Jason Kelsey's the best center in the NFL, and random center that shall go nameless, Nick Easton, whatever. Well, what percentage of plays does a center ID, like Jason Kelsey? What percentage of plays does he ID correctly?
100%.
Yeah,
100.
They don't miss.
100.
And then what about like the below average centers? 60 plays in a game. How many
90,
do they?
97, 98%.
So it could be like 2 plays, 3 plays, or
2,
something.
3 plays. If you're batting below 90, you're not a starting center in the league.
It's like an umpire. It's like an umpire.
Because like when it comes to the center, sometimes they don't see the safety come all the way. And a lot of times too, it's like their discretion. Like sometimes it gets into that gray area where we're all kind of like, should we not? And then all of a sudden the coach is like, we should have. And we were all like, fuck, we thought we shouldn't have. You didn't seem very close to us. And it's like, you get into those areas. But for the most part, dude, if you're a starting center in the NFL, you are IDing because you sit in the meetings with the quarterback. You guys run those meetings, and it's a lot of him just talking to the center. He's saying it out loud so that we can all hear it, but he's really just talking to one guy. Like, hey, we get this look. I want to ID this guy. He's not telling me. I don't give a shit if Boone knows who to ID. It's the guy next to me that needs to know. Hey, I'm talking to you, center, guy with the hand on the ball. You must ID him. Safety comes down. We're going to kill it and go this way. Got it? It's not me saying, okay. It's literally the center going, yeah, we got it. We understand. And it's him going, I understand. I'll get these 4 idiots with me. You just tell me how you want to run this whole show. Now, it helps when we all know what's going on and we can all figure it out, because then it's not a lot of one guy directing traffic. It's 5 guys understanding why we killed it, why we're checking it, why we're new IDing this guy or the safety's down. It just makes things move smoother.
Dude, that was way more than I thought we were going to get from that question. That was we threw a couple guys under the bus. This was great.
That guy threw us under the bus more time.
I'll take the bus star. I'll wear it.
I love how you guys have decided I'm going to build a media platform just to throw that one asshole under the bus from those practice meetings.
It's like the scene from Superbad. People don't forget. Listen, you don't forget. Like, I'll never forget they didn't snap the ball on the 2-point conversion against Dallas. I will never forget that. I'll never ever forgive that. And you may forget one day, but I will never forgive.
How about this? I'll never forget that Marcus Martin snapped the ball on 1 when it was on 2 in Pittsburgh. I'm not kidding you, on 3rd and 10. You think they were juiced up? I was looking back and I saw the ball and I go, no fucking way that just happened. I swear to God, I never saw Cap get hit so hard in his life. He did. He looked at the ball like, did he really? Pooh! I was like, oh my God.
No.
I'll never forget it.
Never forget.
My God. Yeah, keep hitting us up with dumb football questions. You never know when
we got room for one more or no?
Well, come on, hit me one more time, baby.
Well, you guys want one more?
We got one more. We got one more.
Okay, Stewie, and we're going to have like 3 film reviews too that are going to get spicy this week. I just know it. Mm-hmm. Stewie Fly chimes in and says, what's with the 5 pounds of tape on every offensive lineman's ankles?
Ankles?
What?
I mean,
hands? Okay.
Spat. I used to spat. I was a spat guy. I didn't like having my ankles taped under my shoes because like you do it from August 1st all the way till January. Like your skin just gets absolutely raw. Like it just rubs the crap. So I would always spat over the shoe, which is essentially it's like my ankle tape. But I just used to do it over the shoe. Now where I used to have 5 pounds of tape was on my hands. Mm-hmm. My hands, I mean these fingers, they don't work great, as we've spoke on this show many a times. But like I would have a thumb cast on there. I'd have the Evo shields. You remember the Evo shields, Boone?
Oh, yeah.
They're basically these things that like they're air. They're like you pop them open and then you mold them on there and they just rock, like they get hard around. Now I got a weird pause, but like they get really hard around your thumbs. And so like they're just turned so you can just throw those hands like a boxer or a fighter.
You just like jab a guy in the ribs.
Yeah,
and
I mean
stuff,
I'm not kidding. I would use a roll of tape basically per hand. Like, and then you'd have the little tape that you do per finger, and I taped each finger individually. Like, I made sure that I could throw my hands as hard as humanly possible, and they would be protected as much as I could, so that I could just try and strike the soul out of people.
Do you guys ever like? I follow all these accounts on social media, like old football film and all these ones. And this is way back in like the 70s and before. And there was a guy named Deacon Jones who was a defensive edge rusher, legendary from the 70s. And his move was to just put 17 pounds of tape on both hands and arms. And this is when you could do the head slap.
Yeah.
So you could just like, the ball is snapped, you're a defensive end, you've got a club on your right hand, and you just swing it like a bat, and you hit somebody upside
shout
the
out
head.
To those guys that played in that era, because that shit was different. I'm not even kidding you. Those guys are legends in my mind. For the stuff that they dealt with, the face masking, the head slapping, the not like the craziness.
Dude, the Dick Butkus clips that came out a couple weeks ago again, you resurfaced. It's like a running back is trying to like get up after the tackle on just a mud-soaked field, and he'll just like step on his head and put it back down in the mud.
No big deal.
Put his cigarette down, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, I will say this. Defensive players have gotten really smart, and J.J. Watt started this whole craziness with the elbow. Because the minute you are, listen, everybody, we know why they wear them. It's because when they come down on that chop, they got a piece of steel here now instead of bone. Let me tell you how not fun that was to block, especially Linval Joseph. Walk through, and I would be like, dude, it's walk through. You broke my fucking thumb. He'd be like, bro, you gotta play harder. It's walk through.
Dude, Linval used to wear the elbow brace for walk through. He'd tape for walkthrough, and that's when I started playing center. It got to the point where I just snap it and I wouldn't even put my hands up. Like I wouldn't even put it up because it's like it's not worth just coming home to just cuts and bruises all over my forearm. And my wife would be like, "Oh, rough practice." I'd be like, "Walkthrough." It was a really, really hard walkthrough. Like it sucked. Like it was
14
horrible.
stitches on my non-snapping hand. God.
Yeah, hey, to talk about the ankle tape, I still can't grow hair up into my calf because I've taped my ankles my entire career. It's hilarious. I look down sometimes and I'm like, why do I have no hair? Oh, that's right, because I taped my ankles.
You could either use Nair or you could just use offensive lineman athletic tape, I guess.
Hey, I will say it is an art. If you can find a good trainer to tape or spat, because there is so hard. Like you have to do like when you go to a new team. I remember having to go.
That's
see
the
Shug.
worst, dude. That's the worst when you have to find a new taper. Oh,
hey, I'm a figure 8 with a heel lock kind of guy, and he goes, "I know exactly what you need." And I was like, "Oh, I speak the lingo." Like, because I remember when I left Frisco, I go, "Hey, what kind of a rep do I get here?" And they were like, "Figure 8 with an ankle lock." I go, "Roger that," and I'm out of here.
Yep.
Literally the only thing I took, but finding a good trainer, because I remember early on, this might be a self-suck, but when Nike used to sponsor the athletes, I was one of the guys Nike had. And so we would spat, and then Fergie would come in and tape the Nike swoosh back on top of the tape so that nobody could. And so for weeks, nobody would know. And then finally, like week 12, you'd get a letter like, "Hey, we think you're spatting. We're not sure." And I'd be like, "Ferg, we got 12 weeks in, man. Great job. You're a hell of an artist, man. You are." Seriously, you'd see the guy
The
looking.
Nike logo is like vertical. It's just.
He'd be like,
oh, dude, Nike used to get hot. They'd get hot if you were a sponsored athlete.
You covered up that switch, the letters that would come in, and then Cliff King would come in and start yelling at you. You'd be like, "Shut up, Cliff. You're not my coach. Who the fuck are you yelling at? I play football in the professional league. Leave me alone."
Oh my God.
Best.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's your story about ankle tape right there. Stewie
Shout
Fly.
out to
Hopefully
Fergie
that was
too. Greatest trainer ever. I loved him to
Fergie.
death. Yeah. Nate Bresky, loved him. I know
Nate.
you know Nate.
I had Nate in Buffalo. He was the man.
Hey, you know who I saw at Philly? Tom Hunkley was standing behind. He was standing directly behind Sirianni. I go, "Shout out Tom Hunkley, my guy right there." Woo!
Yeah. Once you found your guy, like you used to have to take a few to like, you'd be like, when you get to a new team, you'd start like, "Okay, I'll let him tape my ankles and spat one day." Be like, "Oh, that was dog shit. All right, I'll go to this guy." Like, "Oh, that was a little bit better," but like, still. And then you'd be like, "Oh, that was the one." Right, that was the one, and then you start like, okay, I got to make sure I give this guy a Christmas present. I take care of this dude, like he's my guy, right? Like, you got to take care of your guy because they're hard to find.
Always take, and that's what's funniest too. That's like a whole nother episode. Is like the relationships that you used to have with those guys, like the trainer, like the minute you sat down, you felt like you were in the zone with this guy, like because he was the one that was going to make you feel good before practice, and he's probably the same guy that was going to give you treatment after practice. So you're going to have a real long relationship with this guy. And if you had a guy that could tape, was funny, just got along to go along, and wasn't afraid to ask, didn't ask questions, like when you were like, "Hey, I need something," he was like, "Got it, dude." Yeah. It's over. Like you don't need anything else.
When you're like, "Can I get a bag of ice?" And they'd be like, "For what?" Be like, "You ain't writing this down on the injury report. Give me the bag of ice." They'd be like, "I'll wrap it on for you." Be like, "I'll wrap it myself. Give me the bag of ice."
You're talking about ice. I'm talking about something else.
Yeah.
Shucks. It's empty. It ain't supposed to be empty.
See that? No, there's no rattle in here.
You hear it? I don't. My back feels it.
The 2 keys to life: find someone that could tape the hell out of your ankles, and then find somebody else who doesn't ask questions when you need something.
Perfect.
Hit that subscribe button and the like button here on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. And if you could, we're growing the audio side too on Apple and Spotify. If you made it this far, thank you. Please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts. For Jay, for Booney, I'm Phil. We'll see you next time on the O-Line Committee.